Hey guys, welcome back. So now that April's over and all the updates are done, it's time for another tier list. The previous tier list I posted was just before the April updates, so it's completely obsolete now. So I've decided I'm going to make a new one that encompasses all the updates from April and early May. A lot of changes were made to a lot of characters, so it's kind of necessary that this tier list was made. So make sure you watch the whole thing, because a lot of characters have shifted drastically because of these updates. Now before we start, I have a little challenge. If you agree with the placement of any of these 3 characters, then you have to like and subscribe. And if not, then let me know in the comments below where you would have placed these characters on your own tier list. Now that being said, let's get right into the video. So now starting in D tier, I want to make it known that just because these characters are in D tier does not mean they are bad characters, with the exception of Law. But Gaara, Madara, Gon, those are good characters, but they are really bad in ones. You do not want to be playing any of these characters in ones, for the sole reason that they don't have much combo potential, and their kits are super easy to block and dodge, you know? They're just not very good. But when you take them into a 2 sense, sure, they're fantastic, but in a 1's tier list, they are not good. You do not want to be playing these D tier characters simply because of how easy they are to counter, and the fact that they have no combo potential. Now C tier, they're a little bit better than D, but you still don't want to be playing them. Starting out with Enel, he was S tier in my last tier list, and now he's C. And that's because he has been absolutely gutted. A lot of his moves have been changed and reworked and nerfed, and he's just not good anymore. He's super easy to counter. Kizaru has gone up from D tier because I've realized that despite the fact that he's super easy to counter, if you do happen to get hit by one of his kicks, it is devastating. And you could say the same thing for Gon, saying, oh, if you get hit by Rock, it's going to be devastating too. Well, Rock is a lot easier to counter than a Kizaru kick. So Kizaru has gone up to C tier. Sanji, you just have to be way too close to land anything. He's just really easy to counter by just backing away. Namek, Goku, just don't get hit by Dragon Combo and you're pretty much good. All Might, his Awakening is super good, but you gotta charge to get it. And most people will just keep pressure on you the whole time, so unless you're an M1 demon, you're going to be at a disadvantage playing All Might. Lancer, he's a noob beater. I said this in the last video. He's a noob beater, and if you just block, you're not getting hit. He's super easy to counter. So yeah, no, you shouldn't be losing to a Lancer. He's just a noob beater. Now Zenitsu and Rengoku, those can be controversial. Zenitsu, I put him in C tier for the same reason as All Might, is that you got charge. And a lot of people are just going to keep pressure up on you. And any charged character is usually really easy to beat. Rengoku, the reason he's in C tier is just because I don't think he's very good. From my experience playing him and playing against him, he's just not all that powerful. He has some good moves, but once again, if you just back up and play range, there's nothing a Rengoku's going to do. He can send out a Flame Tiger, but that is so slow that you can just sidestep that and not get hit. And his Awakening, once again, it's so close range that you are not getting hit by it if you play any sort of range. And it's not good. I mean, he has a move that insta-kills him and insta-kills you, but it has to be above 80% Awakening. He's just not viable to play. There are much better characters you can play other than Rengoku. The best way to sum up most of C tier is that a lot of them can be countered by simply playing range, or by just blocking their moves. That's pretty much all there is to C tier. Now B tier is a lot of characters in this game, and that's a good thing. I find B tier to be a good area where characters are balanced, they're not too overpowered, and they're just fair where they are. There's nothing really wrong with the characters in B tier. So most Dragon Ball characters are in B tier because, like I said, they're just pretty balanced. They can be annoying, but they have clear counters, but at the same time they are still good enough where they aren't going to get hard countered. Grimmjow's still in B tier. I know a lot of people still like Grimmjow, but since Panther Combo has end lag now, he's just not very good. He used to be an S tier character, but since Panther Combo got end lag, he's now B tier. He's just balanced, he's average. And Time Skip Sanji, I know a lot of people stand by him. Just block. If you don't know how to block his moves, he can be really powerful, but he's balanced in base pretty much. If he gets Awakening, his Awakening is super powerful, but I don't think that makes up for his average base, so I put him in B. A lot of Naruto characters are also in B, and that's the same reason as Dragon Ball characters, where they are really good if they're played correctly, bad if they're played wrong, and they kind of just meet in the middle where they're just balanced. They have clear counters, but they can also be used by good players to get a lot of crazy wins off with them. But I think they're just balanced the way they are. I think they're fair. They're in B. Misaka and Accelerator, I put them here because once again, just block. If you don't know how to do that, they're super powerful, but generally speaking, in a 1v1 sense, you're going to be fine. Alright, so now on the A tier, there are a lot of characters in A tier that can be arguably S, and it's really up to your own personal opinion. So starting with Deku, I know this one's always been kind of the controversial one, but his combos are so good, and his kit is just amazing with his ranged block breaks and stuff. I love Deku. And his awakening is even better. You can teleport into a guard break on top of having a one-shot move. It's fantastic. I love Deku. I should also clarify one thing that a lot of people might say, that Gon and Rengoku and stuff, they have a one-shot kill, but that kills them. It kills them. And I would much rather be left on 1 HP than be dead. Lemillion can be argued as being S tier. I put him in A simply because he doesn't have a 100 to 0, which is not always important in being an S tier character, but I think Lemillion kind of falls off because his combo really doesn't do all that much damage. Plus, Phantom Crush can be blocked pretty easily once you learn how to differentiate between permeation and not. But he still is definitely an A tier character. He has a really good base, really good awakening, so I put him in A. Rukia's A. Her red ball is a little sketchy, but her base can be pretty good to combo with, and her awakening, in my opinion, is really amazing, so I put her in A. Yoruichi's dropped down from S to A simply because they nerfed her down slam. That's really it. She's still a fantastic character, but she's been nerfed a little bit, so I brought her down. Trunks stands above the other Dragon Ball characters simply because he has versatility. He's a lot of different types of moves in his kit, so that makes him good, in my opinion. He doesn't have a true 100 to 0 combo, but he can do some light combos and has a lot of versatility in the moves he can do, so that's why I put him there. Plus his awakening has like an instant after image that is always off cooldown. It's great. Now Tanjiro is better than the other Demon Slayer characters, especially Rengoku, because he has gap closers. Water Wheel and the flowing, whatever it's called, the one that launches them forward. Those moves close gaps, and they can also block break. Not Water Wheel, but the other one can block break, and that's really good. He has really good combo potential, and also his awakening. It doesn't kill him like Rengoku's does, and he actually has an awakening unlike Zenitsu. So that's why I put Tanjiro in A tier, because his kit's really good, his awakening's really good. Well, Rengoku and Zenitsu, their kits aren't as great, their awakenings aren't as great, or they don't exist. I feel the rest in A are pretty self-explanatory. Some could be argued to be B, some could be argued to be S, but I think most of them are pretty self-explanatory on why they're in A. Now finally on the S tier, it's changed a little bit from the last video. There are still 3 characters that remain the same. Shanks, Aizen, Krillin. Shanks, he is super easy to pick up. He is very easy and accessible for new players, but also is incredibly viable for experienced players in high elo ranked matches. In the background, you've been seeing Shanks gameplay this whole time, and I'm playing in the 110s. So Shanks is really good. His awakening when he uses Conqueror's Haki knocks him out, and boom, you got free one combo right there, and there's nothing they can do about it. His attack speed and awakening is incredibly fast, plus does a ton of damage. In his base, he has Buso and Ken. Both those forms of Haki are great. One gives him damage buff, other just allows him to dodge moves and get out combos. True Strike, super long range. You can bait them into jumping and then hit him with that. It's great. Quick Draw, super good to combo extend with. Just all around, Shanks is a really good character and extremely effective in ones. Aizen, Flash Dodge, completely gets out of combos. True Power, same as True Strike. This one's a little better when it comes to landing, but it does really good damage, really effective. You can combo into the black box, which does a ton of damage as well. He has a counter in base, where he'll just damage them and then you get free hits off. Awakening, I don't even need to explain why Aizen's awakening is incredibly busted. I mean, it's fantastic. It's one of the best awakenings in game. Yuji, thanks to the M1 update, Yuji is just incredibly powerful. He was already OP to begin with, but now that people have to play close range if they're doing melee, he just wins. He just simply wins. There's no way around it. Yuji's base is one of the best in the game, and his awakening, there's nothing you're doing against his awakening, you just lose. You just kind of die to his awakening. Because he uses domain expansion, block breaks you, cleaves you, fire bombs you. I mean, there's nothing you're doing. You're just going to lose. He's just going to kill you. Gojo, also one of the best bases in the game. Counter that leads directly into a 1 combo. A true 1 combo, that is. I mean, there's nothing you're doing against Gojo's 1 combo unless you got a way out of it. But only select few characters have that, so majority of the time he is going to be winning that. Infinity's cooldown is really wacky and stuff, so he can constantly keep comboing. His awakening, it's just a more powerful version of his base. It's a lovely. I love Gojo's awakening. I love his base. He's just an all-around fantastic character and one of the best you can playing in ones. Krillin's pretty much the same. He hasn't changed all that much. His solar flare was nerfed. That was never really his selling point. His Destructo Disc goes through blocks super fast. It's ranged. It's great. Combo extend with scatter shot plus a Kame, so he has 2 ranged block breaks, which is really good, plus a blind, plus a combo extender that does a ton of damage. Awakening, he gets 3 Destructo Discs at one time. He gets his Kame, his Senzo Bean, which just heals him up, and he uses that 3 times in one awakening. So you can get him down to 1 HP, boom, pop Senzo Bean, back to full. He can do that 3 times. It's fantastic. Yeah, so that was the tier list. If you guys have any opinions that you want to share, feel free to do it in the comments. I'll try and respond to as many as I can. And also watch this video right here because it's a great one. See you later.